Welcome back to Beyond 40 and Just Getting Started. I'm excited to kick off this YouTube channel talking about a lot of change. I am going through a very liminal period of my life right now. Liminal is a word I just learned. It means transitional phase. I am trying to become a completely different person, and I'm using YouTube here to help clarify my own thoughts and work towards a destination that honestly right now I don't even fully wrap my mind around. But I know it's going to be better where I'm coming from. I'm excited to kick off this channel talking about how opportunity exists even after we turn 40 years old. There's opportunity for us to continue to grow. That's why the "and just getting started" I feel like is an important subtitle here. I want to use this introductory video to talk a little bit about where I'm coming from and some of the transitions and some of the reasons why I'm deciding to launch a YouTube channel now. Career man for over 20 years now, working for companies and with very much a company man mindset. Back in school, grades were important to me. It seemed to be my natural knack to kind of understand the structure that was around me, in that case the educational system, and try to optimize it, excel at it, try to get the accolades from my teachers and my peers because of good grades. Because of that, I definitely had the mindset throughout my whole working career of fit in the system, be a productive contributor towards the system. And that resulted in individuals that was very company man minded. It's all right for me for 15 years or so. I was able to follow many of the success steps that the society talks about. I got married. I had kids. I was able to provide for those wife and kids. We were able to live the very normal middle class life. However, over the last 5 years or so, there's been an increasing friction in my mind between what I want and what I think should be available to me with my abilities and my skill and how I view myself as an individual compared to what I can financially afford and what's reality for me given the constraints of the time that I owe my employer and the income that I make from my employer. So over these last 5 years, that friction's been growing as I've more and more had, higher desires and higher expectations for myself, but still butting up against that challenge of I've got to go to work tomorrow. The paycheck isn't quite enough to be able to do that activity or go on that vacation or upgrade that convenience in our life. As that friction built, I started looking for ways to overcome that. I started down a variety of paths. I pursued down passive income. I consumed all I could about investing and creating side cash flow. Tried to really figure out a way to overcome this friction and make it so that I could achieve the desires I wanted. At the company I work for, I saw an opportunity for a significant promotion. The head of department was about to leave, and I felt strong that I was a solid candidate for that role. I did all I could to position myself when the head of department was about to transition out. I tried to ensure that I was performing, that my efforts and going above the mark was recognized. I tried to make sure I knew what I was doing, and I even started coming up with ideas of how I would handle things if I was the head of department. The time came, the job posting was published. I took the opportunity, jumped on it, submitted the best resume I could, confident that I'd be a serious candidate for that role. To my dismay and disgust, honestly, I was completely snubbed. I wasn't even given a chance to interview for that position. That's been, I think, 3 years ago now. And at that moment, I realized that, my perception of myself is definitely not the perception the company has of me. So I confidently said, okay, if this company doesn't want to respect who I am and the capabilities that I see myself having, then I'll just go out and and look for another opportunity with full assurance that I'd be able to find a comparable job that would give me the respect I felt like I deserved and give me the opportunity, help me align that friction between desires and what I was capable of achieving. I went out on the market and started applying for jobs. Well, I was shocked at the responses. I'm not sure if I don't interview well or not as polished on my resume. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I worked for 2 years, pursuing a couple of certifications I could add to my resume, submitting resumes to a variety of job opportunities I saw there. Those 2-ish years, I had some interviews. I had multiple interviews for specific jobs, and I thought for sure we're going to come through. Last minute, though, the opportunity was given to somebody else. So all this while, I continued to work at the same job that had snubbed their nose at me. And as time passed, I started feeling more and more disgusted with myself. More and more just feeling like I told them I was going to go apply for a new job because I'd been snubbed. But here I was continuing to show up day after day, continuing to perform to the best of my abilities and help things move forward. But I personally felt like I was being dishonest with myself because I was offended and I didn't want to support this company, in spite of me continuing to do so for 2 years. I've been working on passive income. I was trying to still find a way to eliminate this friction in my life about where my expectations were and what my financial means were to be able to. Still, passive income was not materializing into as significant a contribution as I wanted. And I continued this disgusted feeling within myself of why am I continuing to contribute to an organization that had been so disrespectful to me. So all this combined into increasing and aggravating that friction I felt. The friction was downright palpable. My obligations to my family, for them, made me feel like I had to keep going back. I couldn't take any reckless moves because of that obligation to wife and kids. But it was so displeasing to be there knowing that they didn't respect me the way I felt that I should have been respected. So after this painful cycle, years looking at it, the realization finally occurred to me that if I was going to get out of this friction I felt, I couldn't rely on somebody else to get me out of that friction. I had to take personal action. It really was an aha moment for me. As mentioned earlier, my whole life I've been do your best you can in the system. Don't challenge the system. So with this mindset of be a good contributor, really was an eye-opening moment for me to think, hey, I could take my life into my own hands. Instead of waiting for somebody to see value in me and extend a job offer to me, I could find a way to make a living for myself. I realized that there legitimately are people out there that don't live by the rules of being an employee. There are people out there that have designed a life for themselves from a variety of means. They don't have a 9-to-5 job that they go to and have all to meet somebody else's expectations for them. I call that the second swimming pool. And I realized I'd lived in the employee swimming pool my whole life. All of my friends, all my neighbors were employees. And that was really the only lifestyle I thought was real and thought was open to me, since I didn't inherit significant wealth. But the realization that this friction in my life made me realize was that there are people who get from the employee swimming pool to that second independent, you choose your own life design swimming pool. That realization was an aha for me, and suddenly just filled me with fire, filled me with desire to how can I get out of the employee swimming pool? How can I move on to that next bigger, freer, personal choice swimming pool that I was longing to? That realization and the drive that it caused within me, it has changed my life drastically over the last 6 months. In this YouTube channel, I'm going to document the changes that has happened in my life over the 6 months. And then I'm going to start tracking my journey here about what I'm doing moving forward, how I'm getting myself into that second swimming pool, and how I'm choosing to design my life that meets what I want my life to be. If you're interested in learning more about what's happened to me in the last 6 months and the changes I will be making in my life moving forward, I invite you to come along for the ride. Please like and subscribe this video. If thanks for joining. I'm thrilled to be here and be talking about how we are just getting started.